Emily. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the 2-part series on the breastfeeding how-to, what to expect with breastfeeding. Today's video is going to be what to expect with breastfeeding a few days up to a few weeks after delivery. So without further ado, let's actually get into the topics of this video. If you are in the hospital, I would take advantage of as much time with the nurses, lactation consultants as possible. Try different latching positions or try different breastfeeding positions. Ask questions, seek advice, and I would also book an appointment with the lactation consultants before you're discharged from the hospital. So once you're home, see how breastfeeding is going. If you're having issues, then you have that lactation appointment to go to at the hospital. Next, I want to talk about encouraging your milk to come in. So your body knows how to do this naturally, but sometimes it does need a little bit of help, especially if everything in your labor and delivery didn't go exactly according to your plan. Maybe your baby had to be whisked off to the NICU, or you had a C-section and you can't see your baby right away, so you miss out on all those, that big rush of hormones, and that could delay your milk a little bit. Not all the time, but sometimes it can. So I want to talk about for those mamas who might have a little bit of a different situation, how to encourage that milk to come in. Normally, in a normal situation, your milk will come in 2 to 7 days following delivery. I know for second-time moms, it tends to come in quicker, but up to 7 days is completely normal. Your baby will be just fine on colostrum during that time. Just feed on demand. And when your baby is born, you already have the colostrum in your breast. Your body starts making colostrum, I think, starting in your second trimester when you are pregnant. So your body already has the milk that it needs for your baby when they are born. Whether that's by C-section or vaginal, your milk is there and ready for your baby. If it seems like it's been more than a week and your mature milk has still not come in, I would reach out to your OBGYN. I would let them know, and they might reassure you that that's still normal, to give it maybe a couple more days, but I know that there are medications that you can take to bring your milk in. One of those is Reglan, but of course talk to your doctor and be in communication with them, and you guys can figure that out together. So like I mentioned earlier, try to put that baby to the breast as soon as possible when they are born. I know that if you have a C-section or if they're in the NICU, that is completely out of your control, and that's going to be a little bit of a different situation. But if you do have a vaginal birth, try to put that baby to the breast as soon as possible. Start establishing that breastfeeding relationship. The more you put the baby to the breast, the sooner it's going to help speed things up and get that milk in. If you did have a C-section and you can't nurse your baby within the first couple hours, try to start hand expressing or pumping. Same with if your baby is in the NICU, try to start hand expressing that colostrum and pumping that colostrum out so that they can feed that baby in the NICU, or try to feed that baby in the NICU by breastfeeding as soon as possible if it is safe for your baby and you to do so. If you're worried about your milk not coming in, then you can always do that hand expressing and pumping. But if your baby is nursing on demand in the hospital in that first couple days, in that first week, then you should have no problem having that milk come in. Another thing is if you just want to hand express, just to store up colostrum, that is awesome. Colostrum has so many healing benefits and has stem cells and amazing immunity in there. So if you want to just hand express to have colostrum to give your baby later on if they get sick or need an immune boost, you can also do that as well. So when you're in the hospital those first couple days, I would try to put that baby to the breast as much as possible. I remember feeding my son, pretty much all night long. It was crazy. Those first 3 days, I barely got any sleep, but my milk came in super fast. So I don't know if that was luck or if that was just because he was breastfeeding so much. Pretty much like every hour and a half, like around the clock. So I would really just try to breastfeed that baby as much as possible. It gives you practice, it gives you baby practice, it helps your milk come in, you get that closeness, that bonding. So it's just all around a win, in my opinion. My next tip for getting your milk supply to come in is just skin to skin as much as possible. I know that when your baby is first born, you want to put them in those cute little swaddles and those cute outfits. And of course, swaddling is good for them. They like that tight, close feeling, like they're all tucked away back in the womb. But skin to skin is amazing what it can do. I remember I was just pretty much in a tank top or just topless my whole time in the hospital. And I had my son just pretty much in a diaper. Of course, like I swaddled him when I put him back in the bassinet. But when he was with me, he was just in a diaper and we were just totally close, skin to skin. And it was not only just like amazing that that bonding with him, but I really do think that it helped like those hormones going and helped my milk come in really quickly. It was only about 2.5 days. So skin to skin as much as possible. If for any reason your baby is either losing too much weight or not gaining weight, then it is completely fine to supplement with formula for the time being. I have heard of a lot of moms who both breastfeed and formula feed, so it's not an all or nothing thing. It is normal for your baby to lose up to 10% of their body weight up to a few days after delivery. I know that once it gets to like that 10% range, pediatricians start to get a little bit worried. So if your baby is right at that 10% mark and they're not gaining back their birth weight, especially within those first 2 weeks, they're supposed to regain their birth weight within those first 2 weeks. So if they're not gaining weight, or if they lose more than 10% of their body weight, then you may need to supplement with formula. And I would work with a lactation consultant, get their input, and then of course your pediatrician's input, see what they want you to do. I would just say a fed baby is a happy baby, and a fed and happy baby is a happy mama. So do your best, but if you need to supplement with formula for whatever reason, that is 100% okay. Lastly, before I talk about different products that I recommend, is engorgement. Okay, so when your milk does come in, a lot of times it will come in with a vengeance. Oh my gosh, I will never ever forget that feeling of that first day when my milk came in. Oh my gosh, I was in so much pain. I mean, like my breasts were just rock hard. They were full of milk. And obviously my baby was only 2 days old. You know, at that point in time, his tummy was so small, there's no way he could drink all of the milk that I had for him. So I have some tips to help you with that engorgement. My first tip is to take sunflower lecithin from the company Legendary Milk. This is organic sunflower lecithin. I have tried just a regular sunflower lecithin, and believe me, the organic stuff is worth the extra money. The stuff that you just buy, you can buy this from Amazon, but just the other stuff, not the organic sunflower lecithin that you can buy from Amazon or Walmart, Target, it is not the same. This stuff works wonders to keep your milk flowing. So the sunflower lecithin pretty much just like coats the inside of your milk ducts, and it just makes your milk flow more readily. Another thing to help with engorgement is moist heat anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes before you nurse. So you can stand in the shower, and that can help relieve some pressure. And then, or you could, what I like to do is fill up clean diapers full of water, and the water will soak up the gel, and then you can microwave them until they're warm and then put them in your bra. And then that is like the moist heat will help your breast. It'll help the milk flow more readily, and it'll just help relieve some of that really uncomfortable pressure. You can also wear gel pads. They're kind of like a half breast shaped, and I'm going to show those later on in the products that I recommend, but you can also wear those. You can heat those up in the microwave and put them in your bra before you nurse, and then you can also put them in the freezer, those same gel pads, and wear them after you nurse to just help with like inflammation. And it really does, it just feels really, really nice, especially if your breasts are like burning. Then you can wear those gel pads, and that'll relieve some of that discomfort. Another tip that I have is you can hand express either before or after you feed, or in between feedings even, just to relieve some of that pressure. But you really don't want to get too much of that milk out, because that will only increase your supply more. So if you are hand expressing either like before a feeding or in between a feeding, you just want to only do it until you feel a little bit of relief. Another thing I recommend is the Haakaa. I'm going to go over that later in the products that I recommend, but it's essentially this little this hand pump. It's not a pump, but you can wear it, you suction it to one of your breasts when you're feeding, and it catches your letdown on the other side, and that can relieve engorgement on the other side if you're only nursing on one breast. Because if your baby only nurses on one breast and your other side is still super full, you're either going to have like hand express or pump after you feed to relieve that pressure. But if you wear the Haakaa, then you can relieve some of that pressure while you're nursing. So it kind of essentially saves you time, and then you can build up a little freezer stash. So I highly recommend the Haakaa. I used it a lot, and I was catching like 10 ounces a day by using the Haakaa. And the last tip I have for you, if you are so uncomfortable, so engorged that, and it's been like a couple weeks and the engorgement is just not going away, as a last resort, I would try cabbage leaves. I had to use this tool. I only recommend doing it once a day because it can't lower your supply, but the cabbage leaves, especially like if you just chill them in the fridge and then just put them in your bra, it helps with inflammation. They're cool, it feels nice, and something about it really does help feel better. But I would proceed with caution with that because it can lower your supply. But if you're desperate, I would try that, but only once per day. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about today is resources, books, and products that I found really helpful in my breastfeeding journey. My first recommendation is to follow Legendary Milk on either Instagram or Facebook, and then as well as KellyMom on the internet. It's a blog. I have found so much information from both of those bloggers, companies, and they just have a plethora of information. The second thing is a book, and this is the only book that I read about breastfeeding before my son was born, but I really found it extremely helpful. I have a ton of like sticky notes that I could easily reference in here. It's Ina May's Guide to Breastfeeding. Obviously, it's not a one-stop shop. I still learned so much on my breastfeeding journey that wasn't in this book, but I do still think that it was extremely helpful. So I do recommend this. Next is, I already talked about this in the engorgement section, but this is the organic sunflower lecithin from Legendary Milk. And I would especially recommend this if you're prone to plugged ducts or mastitis. This is really helpful in keeping your milk flowing and keeping those ducts nice and clear. So sunflower lecithin. The next thing I recommend is the Haakaa, and I did talk about this earlier, and this is that letdown catcher. So essentially, it suctions to your breast, so you squeeze and then fold down the silicone, and then you stick it to your breast and then fold back the silicone, and it suctions to your breast while your baby is feeding on the other side. So this is really nice. You can start a little milk freezer stash going by using this. The next thing is pretty similar to the Haakaa. It does the same thing and it catches your letdown. But if you're someone who's really prone to leaking in between feedings, then this is absolutely for you. I actually never ended up using it because I never leaked. No matter how full I was, how engorged, I never leaked milk. So it didn't work for me. But this doesn't suction to your breast, but I can get it out. So essentially you put it in your bra and your nipple goes through here, and then you can wear it in between feedings like I said, or you can wear it while your baby is nursing. It'll catch your letdown, and then you can take out this little insert and then pour this into a bag or bottle and save it for a feeding if you're gone for the night, or just start a little freezer stash. Next, I want to talk about these Nipple Shells. I got these at the hospital. They're like, I think almost upwards of $20 at Target. So if you can get these at the hospital, snag these babies up for free. These were life-saving to me when my nipples were really sore and irritated. Your nipples go through here, obviously, and then they can breathe. I mean, your boobs are gonna look like really weird and kind of pointy, but these will save your nipples and save your life. And it also helps your nipples heal faster if there's airflow to them instead of just being squeezed into your bra. The next thing I recommend is this Mother Love Nipple Cream. This stuff is really great. It's USDA organic, so you do not need to take this off of your nipples before you breastfeed. It has all baby-safe ingredients. It's really nice. It doesn't really smell good, but it looks like that. It's really creamy. It's not sticky, and it really helped my nipples to feel better with all of the discomfort and soreness. There is also, I'm going to attach this link in the description box. It's for an all-purpose nipple ointment. It's made from 3 different ingredients, so you'll have to buy 3 different tubes, but it is absolutely life-saving for sore nipples. It's a hydrocortisone cream, a triple antibiotic ointment, and an antifungal. And so it'll help protect your nipples from any type of yeast or any type of infection, especially if they're cracked, bleeding, super sore, but you do have to wipe it off prior to breastfeeding as those ingredients are not safe for the baby. And then my second to last product is these gel pads. And these are super great, especially in the engorgement phase. They have these little beads that when you microwave or put them in the freezer, they get cold or they get hot. They're really soothing. You just put them in your bra like this or on the underside. And then you can also put them in here so it protects your skin. But if you want a free option instead of buying these, then you can just fill up clean diapers with water. It'll absorb the gel. Then you can heat those up in the microwave, put them in your bra, or put them in the fridge so they're cool. My last product is my nursing pillow. This nursing pillow, oh my gosh, I love this thing. I still use it with my 15-month-old son. It hooks around your body, so you have some back support, and then it clips right here. It has Velcro right here, so you have it nice and snug. It has a little pocket that you can put snacks or a water bottle in here, and then you can just lay your baby right here. You can twist it, so you can do football on one side, football on the other side, and then or just cradle. You can lay your baby right here. Like I said, I still use it with my 15-month-old. He kind of fits on here. His legs are dangling off to the side, but this is another product that I absolutely recommend. I have used the Boppy before, and it's nice, but I really like that this has the back support, and it feels really snug on me since I am like clipped in. Okay, so that is it for part 2 of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you found it informational and helpful. I am going to be leaving timestamps down below, so if you need to come back to this video for reference, you'll be able to just scroll through the video to the exact timestamp that you need. If you liked any part of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you feel so inclined, if you want to see more videos from me. That is all. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye!